Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the weekly comic book roundup, and we're going to get things started with X-Men number 3. So, whereas normally I would go into what's happened in the previous two issues, to be perfectly honest, this is more. This is becoming more and more of a one issue, one story title. I actually kind of dig it. It's an interesting change. Okay, so we start off in the Savage Land at the Krakoan Harvest Center, and a group of people in armor come through the gate and incapacitate Pixie and Ole and presumably all the other mutants present. Back on Krakoa, the Quiet Council convenes to figure out just what they're going to do about what's happened in the Savage Land. And Jean informs Scott that they're sending the X-Men to, or they're going to send at least him out to take care of things. After a brief exchange between Jean and Emma, it's basically explained that the psychics are having a headache because of what's going on, because of things going on with Krakoa. There's a text portion to explain that the gateway to the Savage Land is currently unresponsive. The group that we saw in the beginning come through, after all, has cut it off from Krakoa. As a result, Krakoan wildlife has become more aggressive. There's a noted Black Tom has noted a decrease in the island's mass, which has been confirmed by Beast, and it appears to be 0.0001% of the island, or rather, about 158 square feet. And finally, all the telepaths within the localized manifestation of the island are currently experiencing an increased level of psychic assault and consumption. It's explained that Krakoa feeds on psychic energy of mutants. When the island is at maximum growth, not the contracted pre-nation state winter version, Krakoa needs to consume 2 mutants a year to maintain a stable environment. However, the current population of Krakoa means that only a minimal amount of psychic energy is needed from each citizen to maintain the health of the island, something each mutant is happy to give. There are aggressive protocols in place to ensure that Krakoa is not exceeding its minimal psychic draw. 2 mutants who share similar limitations as the island, based mutants who feed on mutants, Selene and Emplate, have been tasked to observe the levels of psychic depletion among the island's mutant population, and similar protocols are used for the 2 of them as well. It's actually rather interesting. It's kind of one of those, lots of things have been covered. So back at the Savage Land, turns out that the group that has taken over the gate there is a group of senior citizens. One of them's got the beginnings of cancer, or has been is on oxygen and had to quit smoking, and chewing Nicorette gum. So yeah, we get a brief visit with them. They're not the most unified. I mean, they have unity in goal, and that's about it. So we then cut to the Outback, where Cyclops, Emma Frost, and Sebastian Shaw meet with Gateway, who then, since his teleportation is not connected to the Krakoan portals, he can simply teleport the X-Men, or the gathered group, to the Savage Land. The group identifies themselves as Horde culture. Horde, as in a horde culture. also kind of also presumably a play on the word horticulture, as they're all botanists. They have some arguments, and there are there are some choice insults thrown, especially at Emma. It's also revealed that horde culture has somehow managed to block telepaths. So first, Shaw makes an offer to them. You're kind of saying, "Hey, look, explains who he is, and sure, you can make some sort of arrangement, And they first fire the goop that negates his powers, and then beat the crap out of him. Then it's Cyclops' turn. And one of them claims that Cyclops' defense of Shaw broke her hip. But it's a ruse to switch off Cyclops' powers. So now it comes down to Emma, who asks simply, what's wrong with the group? And it's explained that mutants are. The mutants are screwing up horde culture's plan. They basically they would prefer to aggressively wipe out humanity. Figuring that if you do that, Earth goes back to its natural pristine condition. And hey, yeah, we humans have fucked this planet up pretty bad. But it turns out that the various companies that work for kind of messed up, kind of screwed them over, and it looks like it may have gotten some revenge in the end. And they made a seed which they've sewn into everything, and explain it. Within 10 years, they'll control all the world's food supply. They are divided as to who gets to eat, but yeah. Their plan is an Earth with 7 billion fewer people on it. And then Krakoa showed up. So they figure out how to somewhat hack Krakoa and interrupt them on its normal functions and take control of gates. And they were trying to get samples to map the mutant genome. Well, they have them. And they mean to basically see what makes the island tick. And the plan is that they will either convince Krakoa to support their goal, or find a way to bend Krakoa to their will. And if they can and if horde culture can do neither, then they'll find a way to pluck it like a weed. So back on Krakoa, Emma tells the council that they have a bit of a problem. There's also a write-up on horde culture at the end, explaining that explaining that they are a collaborative group of like-minded agrochemists, biotechnologists, and bioengineers who specialize in the genetic manipulation of and propagation of all things botanical. Their goal is the radical depopulation of humanity and the return of the planet to what they would consider a more pristine state. Beyond genetic modification believed to have been made to themselves, unconfirmed outside of documented resistance to telepathy, the women of Horde culture are experts at manipulating the environment to suit their extinction agenda. While it is unknown if there are more than 4 members of Horde culture, the known existing members are Augusta Bromes, agrochemist, 64 years old, best friends with Opal. Opal Vetiver, bioengineer, 68 years old, best friends with Augusta. Lily Lamus, geneticist, 71 years old, thinks she's best friends with Opal, but isn't. Edith Scutch, botanical engineer, 81 years old. Don't need friends, don't want them. And then they're based out of the Green Thumb, which is a mobile base of operations designed and built by Edith. Currently, it's located in Sedona, Arizona, but will move when the current lunar cycle completes. And that is where the issue ends. Fascinating. Very fascinating. Like it's... Moving on to Marauders, number 3. So, the important thing to keep in mind here is that last issue, Kate Pryde Shadowcat was offered the role of Red King of the Hellfire Trading Corporation, and she accepted. It was also revealed in the issue that Shaw had plans for someone else to wear the crown, but we didn't learn who that person was. So we have to get a look at the Red Keep, Blackstone, and the White Palace, which I'm going to show you. It actually looks really nice. There's the White Palace, Blackstone, and the Red Keep. But the issue starts with narration from Sebastian Shaw. This is happening several weeks ago, and it was when Shaw went to right a most grievous wrong and restored his bloodline. And the 5, Egg, formerly Gold Balls, Proteus, Tempest, Elixir, and Hope, along with an assist from Professor X, brought back Shinobi Shaw. Sebastian's son. Sebastian's son, who it should be added, tried and actually, for a time, succeeded in killing Sebastian. Sebastian then killed him, but yeah. They did not have the best father-son relationship. So Sebastian is reborn. And Sebastian basically Sebastian catches Shinobi up on what's been going on. You know, why they're living on a tropical island filled with mutants that they used to fight often, so on and so forth. So, and what the Hellfire Trading Company does. So they end up going to Central Park. Turns out that cults have appeared with widely competing goals dedicated to both the worship of mutants and the destruction of mutants. They go the two go to Tokyo as Shinobi has some business to take care of, and he volunteers, but he explains he has to do this alone. Shaw leave, so Sebastian leaves him. And he explains to the person he owes that they have a friend on Krakoa. So, now we get, first off, from a memo about things going on at the X desk when it comes to Krakoa. After the Marauders sailed from the UK in their new ships, a series of sea trials took place, including a rough weather test courtesy of Aurora Monroe storm. The ship made a stop in the Northern Atlantic at Island M. This is new information on our desk. Is anybody holding back? The Krakoans are using Island M. Are they using any other islands we don't know about? The Hellfire crowd has been using shell companies for years, and now Krakoa is a sovereign nation. We really need to know who owns what. We have a list. If not, we'll need to commence on a database of assets, and especially islands. The weather was clear at Island M, and our satellites observed subjects Catherine Pride and Lucas Bishop disembarked the Marauder at this location. The new vessel then acted in a very unexpected manner. The mutants went below decks, and it cruised away from the island at what we estimate to be 300 knots an hour. They maintained course. They'll shortly land in Brazil. U.S. Navy intel can confirm the speed, but the boomer they had shadowing the Marauder was quickly left in her wake. It's unknown if the mutants knew they were being shadowed or they were just flexing. It seems there is more happening under the hood that we can currently explain. It's possible that former DoD employee and mutant Forge has been busy again giving Krakoa a technical advantage. Someone explained to me how that horse got out of our barn. We should do a full review of what he was doing while he was on our side. There was one other matter of note this week. We received text messages between burner phones from Catherine Pride and Lucas Bishop. The phones were done shortly thereafter. So, going back and forth between Kate Pride and Bishop. Apparently, Kate has offered Bishop the position of Red Bishop as part of her court. However, Bishop is turning it down, but she's. But he's she's being persistent, and he's. The more persistent she gets, the more insistent he is on not doing it. So then, so back to Shinobi and Sebastian. It's explained that the person that Sebastian had in mind to be the Red King was in fact Shinobi, and he has in fact tailored him in red, but however, things have changed, and now he will quite like. And so now Sebastian's offering Shinobi the position of Black Bishop, and giving him a military frigate of his own, which appears to have a cloaking device. He also told Shinobi or unflattering version of how it is that and very dishonestly skewed version of how it is he returned to power, namely that Xavier and Magneto came to him, and but Emma Frost learned of it and convinced them to change things up. But he then gives tells Shinobi the ultimate lie that the White and Red Queens conspired to murder him. And that, which makes all those points when he was asking early on before Shinobi's resurrection, if Shinobi would remember his death, all the more important. And that's where the issue ends. Now, moving on to Excalibur, number 3. Now, where we left off in Excalibur. Okay, so the team was on the team had split up with Apocalypse, Rogue, let me see who all is there. Apocalypse and Rogue at the Lighthouse, and Jubilee, Gambit, and Captain Britain in Otherworld, along with Jubilee's baby Shogo, who, upon arriving in Otherworld, immediately turned into a dragon. So we start off with Richter. He's still living. He's not living on Krakoa yet. Turns out, anytime his powers are a little out of control now. If he's touching the ground, he automatically triggers earthquakes. Back in Camelot, Morgan Le Fay talks some with Mariana Stern, her ally of sorts, on Earth. Mariana explains to her that Coven Akaba is at Morgan's command. Shogo has done some intel. They found out where the castle is, so now they go. They assault the castle, and however, Brian is sent out, chains and armored, and he and Betsy duke it out, and the fight does not have an ending, but Morgan reveals to Betsy that there's nothing left in Brian to save. There's also a brief note to flag and review surveillance of known otherworld assets, but a memo from MI13 and intelligence partners, Project Black Air, etc., to flag and review surveillance of known otherworld assets, including Brian Braddock, Elizabeth Braddock, Jamie Braddock, Megan Braddock, Morgan Le Fay, Catherine Pride, Courtney Ross, Rachel Summers, and Kurt Wagner. Back at the lighthouse, Apocalypse is trying to find a way to keep the gate into Otherworld open. But the crystals he's using will only give him a brief period of power before burning out. And so he travels he travels to New York and basically says, Richter, hey, come with me, man. You know, I have need of you. They go back to the lighthouse and however, Richard leaves to do some exploring and runs into none other than Pete Wisdom of MI-13. Also, apparently, Captain Britain is being called home. Called back to Britain. And that is where the issue ends. I gotta say, it's very nice to see Pete Wisdom back. Moving on to Black Cat number 7. Where we left off, Odessa Drake, leader of the New York Thieves Guild, had kidnapped the Black Cat's mentor, White Fox, while Black Cat and her crew were taking a night off. So we begin, and it appears Fox is being slightly, at least maybe not complete, not like full on tortured by Odessa, but there's been some physical abuse. We learned about the origin of the Thieves Guild and how Kandra, the immortal mutant Kandra, came along and basically started and gave members of the guilds immortality. However, at one point, the New York Guild offended Kandra, and she withdrew her patronage. No more immortality for the New York Guild, and they were pariahs to the other thieves guilds. Turns out that the leading family of the New York Thieves Guild, upon whom the blame was placed for offending Kandra, were the Drakes. And Odessa's father, Castillo Drake, was a student of Black Fox's. In fact, a student alongside Walter Hardy, father of the Black Cat's father. However, Odessa is certain that White Fox killed her father. But Drake started finding the means to, gain immortality. This eventually got And after Fox's death, Odessa took it up. Made contact, made the deal. And Fox explains that everything that she's going on about, it's not about her fault. It's not about Drake's father. It's about control. And the fact that the Black Cat, Felicia Hardy, has consistently rebuked the New York Thieves Guild's advances to have her join. Fox, in fact, even guesses perhaps Odessa's jealous of Felicia because Felicia has freedom, independence, whereas Odessa is chained to the guild, born to a rose she never chose. So she's trying to turn Felicia into her. But Black Cat arrives to rescue White Fox. And Fox continues to stand by not having killed Castillo Drake. I have a feeling that's something that's going to be addressed later. And, however, Odessa does declare war on Black Cat. So we'll see how that goes. Because that is where the issue ends. Now, moving on to the continuation of the 2099 story, Amazing Spider-Man, and Amazing Spider-Man number 35. Where we left off, Doom had seemingly taken over. Or at least had not like taking control, but cut New York off from almost everything after an attempt on his life. Doombots are blocking all ways out of the city, as well as all mass transits. And he's managed to take over all the TV. There are plenty of heroes fighting off the Doombots, but, well, if there's one thing that Latveria has plenty of, it's Doombots. So, Peter's sister Teresa joins him, and they're going after the Chameleon, as they're aware that the Chameleon was involved in at least arming the would-be assassin. So they find him and inform him that he gets shot in the arm, and we all get a brief moment of between. We get a brief moment where Peter tells. First we discover that Hitman that was hired to take the shot, was brought back by Ben Reilly as the Jackal previously. However, having a second try at life didn't really satisfy him. So he found a way to cheat death over and over again by having his consciousness uploaded to a cloud, then downloaded to a fresh body elsewhere. Explaining that the hardest part of the job for any assassin is getting out of the kill zone without being killed oneself. So, yeah, the killer is already dead. But, yeah, Peter and Teresa have a little bit of a heart-to-heart with Peter telling her about the time that the chameleon participated in the cloning of, or the quasi-cloning of their parents. So then, however, it's remarked that Spidey's backpack's glowing. He pulls out it, kind of clairvoyant. So he looks into it. Apparently, the energy that from Miguel's recent appearance, may have given clairvoyant the power it needs. So Peter utilizes it and starts looking at various possibilities. We see all manner of glimpses of alternate worlds, including Moira McTaggart's ninth lifetime. Looks like there's an Earth based on the Future Avengers animated movie. I guess the MC2 universe, the Days of Future Past timeline. There's another. I don't entirely recognize the Spider-Man one they show, but yeah. But in all this, Peter encounters Lila, an artificial construct from Malcolm X. So he explains the problem he has to Lila. And a minute later he comes out of his bag and says, okay, I know what to do. So, however, Doom doesn't fall for it. Basically the thing is that have Chameleon disguise himself as as one of Doom's guards, throw down the body of Hitman, and say, "Hey, look, I found the Trigger Man." However, giant-sized Doom looks at him like, "You really think you thought you could trick me?" And he blasts the roof they're on, and that's where the issue ends with, well, the roof being blasted by Doom. Okay. And staying in the 2099 vein, we've got a pair of 2099 one-shots. First up, we've got Venom 2099. Now, I think there actually was a Venom 2099. Like, as a villain in the Spider-Man 2099. Yeah, there was, because it turned out to be Miguel's brother. But I'm not certain if that Venom was related in any way, shape, or form to Venom. Anywho, so we begin. Snippets of conversation between some scientists. Their acid capabilities, cellular bonding, and how far can we fragment, unparalleled medical applications, cure cases of skull fire. Meanwhile, we keep getting little bubbles saying, help. In Alchemax, in the future, a young girl named Aaliyah has some really bad burns on her body. And she's being, Alchemax is going to basically use her as a human trial. And so she's injected with something, gets some weird. She explained that a potential side effect of the procedure is unusually vivid dreams. She sees Spider-Man in his black costume, Venom, Spidey in the bell tower pulling off the black costume, Null, the fire that caused her that she got the burns from, and so forth. When she wakes up, Her arm, her burn scars are gone. But she does have to wear a bracelet, which one of her classmates yanks off, basically rips off of her. When she gets home, however, something's talking to her in her head. And then her arm turns black. But it won't wash off. She tries to cut it off, but what's covering her basically breaks the blade of the knife before she can. He explains that, hey, we need to talk. It turns out this is a piece of the Venom symbiote. And Aaliyah is shown a very quick version of the history. But the symbiote wants Aaliyah's help. So, Aaliyah goes to Alchemax. The symbiote portion kills the guards that try to stop her. And now all of the pieces of Venom are saying help, and so she works on freedom, but she snuck up on and shot. And now, well, the scientist that stopped her tries to contain the symbiote pieces, but they break free, and they all become the whole once again, and Aaliyah then becomes Venom, and well, first she has the doctor delete all the data on the symbiote, which he does, and then Venom kills him. And so the symbiote and Aaliyah discuss what they're going to do. Kind of and you get kind of a, hey, we can't just go around killing people though. And so she uses the symbiote to frighten the classmate who took her monitor bracelet earlier. But then she suddenly loses control, and a spiral forms on her forehead. But then the sounding of the school bell is enough to calm Venom down. But it turns out Venom, the symbiote, thought Null was dead, but no. Null is on Earth. That's where the issue ends. A friend of mine and I were discussing these a few weeks ago, and I guess I really would love some of these. I would absolutely love it if they were if they end up basically becoming pilot books, so to speak. Like, kind of throw a one shot out there, see how the one shot does, and then do a book if the one shot does well, and continue the story from the one shot. Venom, so far of these 2099 one shots, Venom and the one we're about to look into, Ghost Rider, I definitely want to see continued. Speaking of which, last book of the video, Ghost Rider 2099. So, there was a 2099 Ghost Rider. The 2099 Ghost Rider was linked to Ghost Rider in name alone. A hacker was killed while he was online, and he downloaded his consciousness into a war bot. Yeah, it was actually pretty good. So we get a little bit of information about Transfer City, a city of constant movement. The center of the city is an ode to motivation, to technology and transportation. Pristine vehicles housing those with a score rating reaching the 99.5th percentile travel on smooth white roads, pure roads. The rest, the down-rampers, live outside the core, on the outskirts, where the roads are a reflection of the lives of its citizens, rough, broken, and scarred. The roads crammed full of dealers, grifters, hackers, and pirates. The only law here, the only thing you need to remember is, you never stop moving. For to stop is to die. And so a rig is attacked. And the attackers, Werewolf, spelled W-A-R-E, W-O-L-F, Zero Cochran, 2600, and Frack, are basically here to raid the truck for power cells from demonics. Yeah. Zero's contribution is to basically keep the security shut off. However, it turns out that there are no power cells in the truck they attack, just a warbot. In Demonics' mobile HQ, however, well, they are aware of what's going on, and it's discovered that it turns out that Zero's father, Harrison, is a member of is there, and he ends up giving the order to set the self-destruct on the truck. It goes off, killing Zero's friends. Harrison does feel bad about it, even with what he said about how, Zero stopped being his son when he started stealing from Demonics. However, Zero comes to in the Ghost Works, where he's met by Blaze. Now, it's interesting to note that they're utilizing Johnny Blaze's early 90s look, where he was I don't want to say a cyborg, but he had metal plating. I'll just put it that way. He was potentially cybernetic. He had a cybernetic appearance briefly. And it's explained that and so Blaze explains to him that to Zero that he's dead. The shipping container blew up. His friends are dead. Meatbag body. And Zero got sent to the Ghost Works, which is hell. A digital hell from which there's no escaping. And it is Blaze's domain. And then Blaze tells him that his father is the one that initiated the self-destruct of the container. Also, Blaze can send Zero back. Not in his meatbag body, but in a better body. So, he gets sent into the Warbot, He fends off a bunch of shield agents. Steals the hover bike from one of them. Which, of course, pisses off Demonics to no end. And Harrison Cocker's about to take even more of a blame for it. Zero then goes to get his stuff from his girlfriend's shop, but explains that who he is. Takes some time for her to accept it. However, a rival gang, the Artificial Kids, show up. They're looking to collect a bounty on Zero from Demonics. And Zero and his girlfriend mess up the Artificial Kids pretty good, and then... Well, actually, Zero's girlfriend, Kylie, manages to take down some of the Artificial Kids, and so they leave. And Ghost Rider and Zero decides to take the fight to two Demonics. And yeah, he's also modified the Warbot to include a chainsaw on one arm, which he uses very well, killing a few of the executives, including his father. Turns out the Warbot was going to be used to clear out some of the outer roads of down rampers in Trados City to expand the core of the city. And that is where the issue ends. And that's it for this part of the roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.